Iran said that the last time I blew them up with the nuclear capability.
At 9:42 p.m. local time, the heart of Tehran is already in motion. Not with traffic, not with normal city noise, but with crowds moving fast through dark streets. Power is out across multiple districts. Street lights are dead. Only fire from burning barricades lights the roads. People are running north and south at the same time. Major highways are blocked. Side streets are sealed with debris. Police vehicles are stuck, unable to move forward or turn back. This is not a protest forming. This is a city already in action. On one side stands the regime, relying on police units, besieged forces, and emergency controls. On the other side are hundreds of thousands of civilians. No uniforms, no weapons, just numbers, coordination, and momentum. Instead of dispersing, the crowd pushes deeper into central areas. Then the situation jumps again. Internet traffic drops sharply. Messages stop loading. Phones show no signal. This is the kill switch, a move used only when the government believes it is losing control and needs darkness to act. Sirens echo for a few seconds, then fade. Security radios overlap with urgent calls. Units request instructions that do not arrive. This is no longer crowd management. This is a race against collapse. What the regime does not realize yet is simple. Turning off the lights does not stop the movement. It exposes how fragile control has become. If you want to follow this confrontation as it unfolds, moment by moment, subscribe now. This moment matters because this is not happening in a border town or a remote province. It is happening in the center of the country. When pressure reaches the capital, every system feels it at the same time. Government offices, financial networks, security command centers, and transport routes all depend on control here. If control weakens in this city, it weakens everywhere. The location of these clashes is not random. Protesters are moving toward administrative districts, media corridors, and major intersections that connect north and south. These are the same routes used by security forces to move reinforcements. Blocking them is not emotional, it is tactical. Every closed road slows response time. Every stalled convoy buys the crowd more minutes. For the people in the streets, this is no longer about slogans. Many have already lost jobs to inflation. Others face water shortages, rising prices, and unpaid wages. When daily life becomes uncertain, fear loses its power. Staying home feels more dangerous than stepping outside. Inside the security forces, the pressure is different but just as heavy. Officers are exhausted. Shifts are extended. Orders change by the hour. When internet access disappears, coordination breaks down. Units rely on outdated information, while crowds adapt faster on the ground. This is why the blackout backfires. Silence does not restore control. It creates confusion, and confusion favors the side that can move without waiting for permission. What we are watching is not chaos for chaos's sake. It is a struggle over who controls time and space in the city. The regime needs calm to regroup. The crowd needs momentum to survive. That is why every hour matters, and why the next response, whatever it is, will shape everything that follows. The first response begins quietly. No speeches, no announcements. Inside command rooms, screens refresh again and again. Live feeds blink out. Some cameras freeze on empty streets. Others go black completely. On one monitor, a cluster of dots shifts color, then disappears. No signal does not mean calm, it means blind. Security commanders order redeployment. Units are told to move closer to key intersections and government buildings, but movement is slow. Barricades block access points. Civilian cars sit abandoned across multiple lanes. Fires force sudden detours. What should take 10 minutes now takes 40. In fast-moving unrest, that delay changes everything. On the ground, officers receive fragmented instructions. Radios crackle with overlapping voices. One unit reports a crowd pushing south. Another reports fires spreading to the west. A third reports losing contact with patrols entirely. No one sees the full picture anymore. The chain of command stretches thin, pulled in too many directions at once. Then comes the first physical contact. Not gunfire. Not yet. Shields meet bodies. Batons rise, then hesitate. The crowd does not scatter. It presses forward. People link arms. Someone pulls another person back from falling. A woman screams for others to hold the line. The formation tightens. The police line bends, but it does not break. This is the moment where control is tested. For the regime, this is about restoring order before momentum spreads beyond recovery. For the people, this is about holding ground long enough to prove something critical: that the streets are no longer owned by fear, and that retreat is no longer automatic. If you are watching this and trying to judge who holds the advantage right now, press 1 if you believe the security forces can still regain control, or press 9 if you think the crowd has already crossed the point of no return. And subscribe, because what happens next will not slow down. As the first clashes stabilize, something shifts. The noise drops, the shouting fades. Both sides pause, catching breath. Helmets tilt upward, faces scan the dark. But this pause is not calm, it is calculation. Everyone understands the next order, or the next push, will decide how far this goes. And somewhere behind the lines, a command decision is already moving through the system. The escalation does not begin with an order shouted into a radio. It begins with movement. Small at first, a line steps forward, another steps back. The distance between the crowd and the security forces shrinks to less than 20 feet. Close enough to see faces, close enough to feel breath. In close urban confrontations, every angle matters. Even a small shift in position can decide who holds the street. The crowd understands this instinctively. They spread wide, forcing the security line to stretch. No gaps at first. Then one appears. Just a few feet. Enough. Police commanders attempt to stabilize the line. Reinforcements are requested from nearby districts, but traffic does not move. Roads remain blocked. Fires burn unchecked in side streets. Officers arrive on foot. Already tired. Already behind. Fatigue sets in fast when pressure never drops. Then the pattern changes. Protesters stop pushing forward and begin moving sideways. Left, then right. The formation rotates. Security units turn to follow, but their shields are designed for front pressure, not constant repositioning. This is not accidental. Someone is guiding the flow. For a moment, there is no sound but the crackle of burning debris and distant sirens. No chants, no shouting. Silence in unrest is never peace. It is focus. A brief surge follows. The crowd advances 3 steps. Police retreat 1. That single step matters. It signals weakness, even if unintended. Phones rise. Someone shouts that the line is breaking. Whether true or not, belief spreads faster than facts. Inside command centers, the reports become urgent. Districts are marked unstable. Units are reassigned, then reassigned again. Orders change before they are fully carried out. Coordination slips. The city no longer responds as one system, but as isolated fragments. This is escalation without gunfire. No single dramatic strike, just constant pressure, constant motion. Each minute erodes control further. Each hesitation shifts the balance. By now, both sides understand something important. This is no longer about clearing a street. It is about who can endure longer under stress, confusion, and exhaustion. And the night is far from over. The twist does not come from the street. It comes from above. For hours, the blackout appears to be working. Inside the city, phones stay dark. Messages fail. Live feeds vanish. From the ground, it feels like isolation, like the world has turned away. That is exactly what the regime is counting on. But outside the country, the picture looks very different. Images begin to surface. Short clips, blurry at first, then clearer. Fires in major intersections. Crowds moving in waves. Police lines bending under pressure. Despite the shutdown, the footage keeps coming. Not through local networks, but through satellite connections scattered across the city. The blackout was meant to hide weakness. Instead, it confirms it. Within minutes, analysts and media outlets abroad realize what this means. The regime is no longer confident enough to manage unrest in the open. Darkness is not a tactic of strength. It is a sign of panic. And panic travels fast. Inside the security apparatus, this creates a new problem. The world is watching again. Every move now carries consequences beyond the street. Excessive force risks global backlash. Hesitation risks losing control. There is no safe option left. On the ground, protesters sense the shift even without seeing it. Confidence spreads by word of mouth. Someone shouts that videos are getting out. Another says the world can see everything. Whether fully true or not, the effect is real. People stand taller. They hold position longer. This is the moment when a confrontation turns into a message, not just to the regime, but to anyone paying attention. Control has limits, and those limits are now visible. If you think the blackout strengthened the government's hand, press 1. If you believe it exposed a turning point that cannot be reversed, press 9. And subscribe, because the next phase is about to test those limits directly. What follows will not be hidden, and it will not stay contained. The climax does not explode all at once. It tightens. Just before midnight, movement inside the city slows, then locks into place. Streets remain contested. Barricades still burn, but now both sides wait. Security units hold positions around key buildings. Protesters hold ground at intersections. No one advances far. No one leaves. Inside command rooms, voices drop. Orders become shorter. Hold. Stand by. Do not escalate. Every decision now carries risk. Too much force could trigger consequences beyond the city. Too little could signal collapse. The margin is thin. At the same time, signals begin to appear outside the country. Statements from officials grow sharper. Warnings are issued, carefully worded but clear. Any large-scale bloodshed will not go unnoticed. Military logistics activity increases quietly. Not an attack, not a threat, a reminder. On the ground, none of this is visible. What people feel instead is pressure. Helmets pressed down on brows, hands tighten around shields. In the crowd, arms lock again. Someone counts breaths out loud. Another checks on a stranger. Fear is present, but it is no longer in control. Then a single order comes through the radios. Units are told to hold positions and avoid forward movement. No charge, no clearance operation, just containment. For the regime, this is a defensive posture, a pause meant to buy time. For the crowd, it feels like something else. Like the moment before a door opens. 3 seconds pass in silence. Then another. No one moves. The city seems to lean forward, waiting to see who blinks first. If you believe this pause means the authorities are regaining control, press 1. If you think this hesitation shows they are afraid of what comes next, press 9. And subscribe, because this standoff is shaping the outcome in real time. The night holds. The lines hold. But everyone knows this balance cannot last. The question is not if it breaks. It is how. By early morning, the streets do not return to normal. Fires burn lower, but barricades still stand. Security forces remain deployed, yet their movement is limited and cautious. The city is quiet in a way that feels unstable, not peaceful. Tehran has survived the night, but it has not reset. The immediate outcome is clear. The regime holds power, but it does not regain full control. Several key intersections remain contested for hours. Units rotate under visible exhaustion. In some neighborhoods, patrols pull back and observe from a distance instead of advancing. This is containment, not victory. For the people, the impact is psychological and permanent. The fear barrier has been crossed. Many return home knowing something has shifted. The streets no longer feel owned by only one side. Even without a final clash, the balance of confidence has changed. Beyond the city, the shock spreads outward. Regional actors begin recalculating risks. Prolonged instability in Iran threatens energy flows, supply routes, and proxy networks across the Middle East. Markets react to uncertainty. Allies watch closely. Rivals reassess their assumptions. For global powers, the message is uncomfortable. This pressure did not come from airstrikes or foreign troops. It came from inside the system. A government built on control faced resistance without a single external shot fired. That reality changes strategic thinking everywhere. Inside Iran, the problem ahead is not short-term. Security fatigue, economic strain, and public defiance do not disappear overnight. Even if streets are cleared tomorrow, memory remains. And memory is harder to suppress than crowds. If you believe this was only a warning shot and the system can still absorb the pressure, press 1. If you think this night marked the beginning of a deeper collapse, press 9. And subscribe, because what comes next will build directly on what happened here. This was not the end. It was the measurement. And the next phase will start from this line, not before it.